morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, please sit.
Thank you, sir.
Kartik, first you have to tell me what is high intensity interval training.
Sir, actually, I was doing it since quite a long time, but recently, while filling my DAF, only I encountered with this term, and my friend told me it is basically a kind of workout wherein for 15 minutes we do an exercise like for 3 minutes high intensity workout and then 15 seconds pause. So it is basically a cardio exercise, not a muscle and strength training.
All right. Now you seem to be interested in the United Nations. You have won some kind of a GK test. Are you still interested in the UN?
Yes, sir, it is also a part in my optional subject, United Nations.
Why do you think the UN has not yet abolished the Trusteeship Council?
Sir, apart from various criticisms of being biased and favored towards the developed nations, the Trusteeship Council has also worked for the.
What is the Trusteeship Council?
Sir, I am not exactly aware.
Exactly. So why did you start answering without knowing?
Sir, I got confused it with the
With the?
different organization.
See, because UN stands out, so be careful.
Yes.
Now, political science and international relations. Now, some political scientists believe that there are no pure democracies, there are only oligarchies. Do you agree with that statement?
Sir, in India or in across the world?
Across the world, in general, there are no democracies. Democracies are oligarchies trying to act like democracies.
Sir, this may be belief of some people, but the actual the human behavior is such that various reports have also highlighted that there are nexus and unholy vested interests of some people, but democracy as of large, we are all trying to figure out the basic principles and trying to work in that direction.
Is India a democracy?
Yes, sir, for sure.
How are you so sure?
Sir, because the basic tenets of democracy, like the right to the people, the electoral free and fair elections.
So, if I say that we are only an electoral democracy, not a pure democracy, would you agree? We only have we vote, and for the next 5 years, nobody is bothered.
Sir, but elections are a regular phenomenon in India, so
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. That are we only an electoral democracy?
no, sir, there is substantial democracy also because the elected government is responsible to the people and works for their social and economic development.
Where is it responsible to the people? Do you see any responsibility of any elected government in India?
Yes, sir. They have to be responsible because the people have the power to protest, to.
No, I can elect, but I cannot de-elect.
For sure, sir.
So then how does it work? Once I've elected you, are there. If I have the power to elect you, I should also have the power to remove you.
Yes, sir.
So then how is it a democracy? I can only elect you. After that, I can't do anything.
So for that, our constitution has the part 4 DPSP, which is a moral force for the elected government to follow that particular path.
But it's not mandatory. Government might follow, not follow.
Sir, that is our wisdom to choose those leaders that work for us and not.
So you're saying it's okay. We don't need a power to remove our leaders.
No, sir. In some Western world, we have the power to recall and such.
Should we Indians have the power to recall? That's what I'm asking.
Sir, directly we don't, but some constitutional bodies like CAG and Election Commission can ensure that they function properly.
So are you saying that we do not need the power to recall? We only need the power to elect?
No, sir, I do not mean that. If any particular representative is not functioning properly, we can think of this right to the people to recall their executive.
Recent political events in the country, without naming any political party or leader, do you think we are behaving more like a presidential government than a parliamentary government?
Sir, with heightened power of the cabinet and particularly the kitchen cabinet, uh, it may appear as if the high power decisions are being taken by a group of people, but major decisions of the government are taken by having taking into confidence the Council of Ministers as well.
Council of Ministers is the executive.
Yes, sir.
What about parliamentary, the power of the parliament? Do you think that is weakened over time?
Sir, various reports like by the PRS Legislative Research have highlighted the declining role of the parliament.
Do you agree with that report?
Sir, partially it is true.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Kartik, what is the meaning of Jindpur?
Sir, I am not aware about the origin of it.
Mukhmelpur?
Sir, maybe the confluence of something. I am not sure, sir.
Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, tell me 3 schemes of Government of India which have helped the common man in last 1 decade.
Sir, in any field or any specific field?
Government of India schemes in last 1 decade.
Sir, one would be the Digital India scheme, where the digital empowerment of citizens have been taken.
So how many transactions are happening on Digital India? What is it called? The interface, what is it called?
The UPI, Unified Payment Interface.
How many transactions are happening on it every day?
So recently it has crossed the figure of around 1 crore also.
1 crore transactions per day. Okay, it's actually more anyway. Okay, which other scheme?
Schemes like Hello India.
Okay.
And infrastructure schemes like Gram Sadak Yojana,
That's a very old scheme.
Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, Make in India scheme, sir.
Okay. I said the common man. Make in India doesn't help the common man. Hello India is also not for the common man.
Sir, PM Kisan for the farmers.
Okay, what else?
Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana for ensuring food security of our citizens.
Okay. This Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana is covering how many people?
Sir, 80 crore beneficiaries.
80 crore. And PM Kisan is covering how many people? How many farmers are benefiting out of it?
Sir, around 5 lakh families, I am not.
Huh?
Around 5 lakh families, I am not exactly sure about it.
5?
5 lakh.
PM Kisan only 5 lakh? No, it's much more. It's much more. It's 5 crore accounts were benefited recently. PM Kisan is actually 11 crore people are. 5 crore he gave just day before yesterday or something. Total 11 crore people are getting 6,000 rupees every
Every year. 3 installments.
Huh?
In 3 installments.
Yeah. So does it make sense to give free food to 80 crore people out of 140 crore?
Sir, economically it may not make sense, but the financially it may not make sense, but the economic level and the below poverty line status of those people makes us imperative for the government to do so.
Are you doing any job?
Sir, I am just selected as an assistant commandant in CISF and I am yet to join that service.
So you got selected as assistant commandant already.
Yes, sir.
That's very nice. When are you to join that?
Sir, I have to join it on 12th of April.
So right now you are not.
Yes, sir, I am just preparing.
So are you paying any taxes?
Sir, me per se, I am not paying any taxes.
Sure.
Sir, I am only aware about it.
You are not paying any taxes.
Sir, if I am not earning, then how can I pay tax? Okay, yes. Sir, but if I am not the earner, so I'll call it my father is paying indirectly that tax also.
Yes, you are paying it the indirect taxes. Anyway, so how much is the GST collection every month?
Sir, it is more than 1 lakh crore rupees. 1 lakh 40,000 crore rupees.
It's 1.7 lakh crore. And direct tax collection is more or indirect tax collection is more?
So recently the direct tax collection has surpassed the indirect tax collection.
Is it a good sign for the economy or it's not a good sign for the economy?
So it depends on the strata of society we are talking about. For the middle class it is not good, but for the poor people it is good, as they have to bear the burden of indirect taxes, because it is a kind of regressive tax.
For the middle class, why it is not good?
So for the regular salaried people, they have to pay more of the taxes, and for the corporates, they don't want to pay a lot of tax.
That's it.
Sure.
Kartik, good afternoon. So recently we tested a missile.
Yes, sir.
So what's the uniqueness of it compared to its previous versions?
Sir, are you referring to the Agni 5 ballistic missile?
Yes. Did we test any other missiles recently?
Sir, I am not aware about any other.
Okay, please continue.
Sir, Agni 5 ballistic missile can carry a nuclear weapon load, nuclear payload, and has a strike capability of up to 5,000 kilometers. So it covers a major portion of our neighborhood, and it can be launched from all the three spheres, like from air, from land, and from water.
That's it? What is this concept, or say this technology of MIRV?
Sorry, sir.
MIRV.
Sir, can you
Multiple independently targeted re-entry vehicles. What do you mean by that? This missile has that capability, right? No idea? Please go back, look into it. Okay, next. Again, one of the recent thing about fighter aircrafts.
Yes, sir.
What was it? Why was it in news?
Sir, we have developed an indigenous fighter aircraft.
We have developed or starting to develop?
Sir, we have developed a Tejas aircraft, which is
No, next. Where also there is one more thing that is in news. Whose approval got delayed for 20 years. Yeah. Okay, fine. Next. Coming to your PSIR. So, due to huge competition during elections, it looks like someday, very soon, we are going to put these welfare schemes in fundamental rights. Do you see such a situation?
So due to the financial paucity of our nation, I don't think that welfare rights.
But many things would have not come if politicians kept in mind the financial situation.
I guess that is how politics play its due course. But as the second ARC reports and other.
What will be the impact if they are incorporated in the fundamental rights?
So then people will have the right to entitlement, and they can go to the courts if they are not enforced. And for enforcing them, a lot of other trade-offs may have to be done by the government. For example, like capital expenditure.
Very simple. Fundamental rights get diluted. That's it. Right?
But,
the very idea of fundamental rights gets diluted.
Yes.
Okay. So next. If you are asked to tell in one line or one statement, what is India and China's approach to the border policy, or India's approach to the Indo-China border policy?
Sir, India wants to walk the talk, the protocols and the confidence building measures that India and China have signed, and peaceful resolution of border disputes is what India is aiming at.
But huge accumulation of troops, infrastructure, everything.
On India's part,
Yes, both sides.
as for China, it is an aggressive state and it tends to a salami slicing policy. It tends to push a little bit so as to capture territories and create deterrence for its hostile neighbors. But as for India, it is an offensive defense strategy wherein we have to protect our territorial integrity also.
Okay, one last question. In the upcoming criminal laws, cheating on the promise of marriage is made a criminal offense. Did you come across it?
Yes, sir.
So what will be the implications of it? Is it good or
Sir, it may lead to filing of frivolous cases, but I think it is a step in the right direction because because people do dupe the youngsters and the teenagers on the pretext of marriage.
but they are all adults, right?
Yes, sir.
It is through free will again.
Sir, but it is also morally, if we see, it is also
Do the legal system guarantee what is talked or what is in contracts?
sir, for that the courts are there to look into the matter very deeply and on case-to-case basis they shall be resolved.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Kartik, you are a student of PSIR. Can you tell me the difference between a border and a frontier?
Sir, a border is a geographical term whereas a frontier is a war type term, where it is like ad hoc arrangement where the two forces or two opposite groups are face to face with each other. Whereas border is a permanent geographical term.
With regard to China, we had a frontier, we had a border.
So since it is not clearly demarcated and delineated, still it is called a border.
Have you heard of a term called North-East Frontier Agency?
Yes, sir, it was the previous name of Arunachal Pradesh.
So that means it is a frontier. It was a frontier at least.
Yes, sir, in the colonial era it was called as such.
So if it was a frontier, then what is the McMahon line?
Sir, it is a large area similar to buffer zone, whereas the McMahon line is the demarcated line between India and China in Arunachal Pradesh.
So India and China, which is the force which is protecting that?
Sir, ITBP.
ITBP. And what about the SSB?
Sir, it guards the border of India, Nepal and India, Bhutan.
Okay. Thank you.
Kartik, you have opted for pole science and international relations. You have shown interest in pole science and IR.
Yes.
But it is not reflected in choice of your service. You have kept IFS at 4. Why this dichotomy?
Sir, actually, becoming an IPS is my childhood dream because my father and my grandfather.
That I can understand. IAS number 1 you can opt, no problem. But IFS at 4, while you are opting for pole science and international relations, it looks little, don't you think, mismatch?
Sir, a service, a profession and an area of interest can differ, I suppose.
Okay. You tell me, now, our Prime Minister visited Kashmir recently and he said, now you can breathe free now. What does he mean by that? Are they were not breathing freely before that? Have you heard that phrase he used?
Sir, he was highlighting the reduced crime rate, the strict control of security forces, and therefore reduction in the militancy and cross-border terrorism in the region, and also now optimism with respect to industrial and socio-economic development of the region. So he was painting a rosy picture actually.
Do you think after abrogation of Article 370, people of Kashmir Valley, they have really socially benefited out of that? Not politically and law and order wise, otherwise socially.
Sir, the Home Minister has highlighted uh, that there are increased investor sentiment in the region, and the HDI of Jammu and Kashmir is increasing.
You tell me, are you aware about this Paytm Payments Bank latest status? What is going on? Paytm Payments Bank issue. Are you aware with that?
Sir, with respect to undervaluation of its stock,
No, no. RBI has given some that it will be stopped functioning Paytm Payments Bank due to violation of certain what you say KYC norms. It will be discontinued with effect from.
I have read this, but I am not exactly.
It will discontinue from 15th of March. So what will be the option now? People can still make the payment through Paytm?
Yes, sir, they can make the payments, but I think the wallet facility has been stopped.
Yes, you are right. Through UPI they can still make the payment,
Yes.
but banking system will be over. Okay, you tell me now inflation is retail inflation is more or less stable in the range of 5%.
Yes.
How would it affect our economy, our policy, monetary policy? What do you think? It will be impacting our monetary policy in any manner?
Sir, since long our monetary repo rate has been constant at 6.5%.
Okay.
And with stability in the foreign global area as well, in terms of oil prices as well as Russia-Ukraine war, I think they will follow a more dovish stance where they will reduce repo rate so as to create more investment opportunities.
Do you think monetary policy focuses on investment or on controlling inflation?
So their primary objective is to control price inflation.
Basic purpose is that. Along with that, growth. Second, they have to keep a balance between the two. So this inflation under control means now they can opt for a lowering repo rate.
Yes.
Okay, you tell me, what is this economic diplomacy? Have you heard about that word?
Sir, having good trade and investment relations with foreign countries will increase our geopolitical leverage with respect to those countries. For example, we signed the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement with UAE has also increased our say in the diplomatic matters in West Asia. So that way it helps us.
Any other neighboring country which we have using this form of diplomacy?
With Australia, we signed ECTA, and with Sri Lanka.
We can use this diplomacy more with rich countries or with countries which are less developed than us?
Sir, largely we have been using it for the countries of global south to leverage ourselves as their leaders.
Okay, thank you.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.
All right.